Fishing from a canoe can be awkward. Paddles, rods, other crap. So I'm going to show you 3 things that I do in order to make that experience better for me, and hopefully that helps you. This will be helpful for anybody who's building a fishing canoe, but specifically for anyone who is looking to build a canoe that they could then take on a portage trail or deep into the backcountry. Number 1 on the list is going to be gear tracks. This is probably the best mod I've made to this canoe. It is used to attach accessories, things like fish finders, your phone, a camera, rod holders. All that stuff can be mounted in one place and organized in front of you, rather than having individual clamps for all those things, which on a trip specifically becomes kind of a pain in the butt. I literally will not own a fishing canoe from now on without them. So I've personally chosen to mount these on the thwart of the canoe, this wooden crossbar here. The reason for that is a couple reasons. First of all, I like everything out in front of me like this. There's plenty of space between the stern seat and this thwart that it's not in my way at all. You could mount these on the gunnels if you had enough width. Mine are quite narrow. So that's not going to work. If you do that, make sure they're not going to interfere with your roof rack. So just check that before you attach them. And I also spoke to the manufacturer of this boat specifically, H2O, and asked about mounting it into the composite, like the body of the canoe. I was told that you can do that. If you're going to do that, what they suggested was actually drilling a hole through and using an epoxy when you put the bolt into the composite, and then use a washer with the nut. Do it at your own risk, but if you are gonna do it, that's probably the right way to do it. These sick orange ones I grabbed specifically from Frontenac Outfitters. These are Yak Attack, and Frontenac Outfitters has one of the largest selections of Yak Attack accessories in all of Canada. So have fun going through all those accessories and deciding what you need for you in your boat. You'll thank me later. This next mod is not inexpensive, so if you are looking for budget ideas, I did a video on that a while back. I'll link it right up there. You can go there if you're looking for less expensive options to outfit your fishing canoe. So that thing is going to be this orange ball right here. This is a Deeper Sonar, a portable fish finder, and they're made by a company called Deeper out of Lithuania. These things are amazing. Now, if you are a beginner angler and you're just getting into it, you probably don't need a fish finder. I wouldn't recommend that to start. But if you are at a point where you're looking for a fish finder, you want to learn more about the fish, you want to learn more about the areas you're fishing, this is an invaluable tool, and it works great on any fishing canoe. But again, it's very practical if you're going backcountry camping because it's so small. It's just this ball right here, and you use your phone as the display. The only other thing you need is the mount to put it on the canoe, and then a phone mount, which I'll get into. I did do a full review on it, so if you are looking to learn more about the Deeper, I'll link that video right up there. But if I had to choose one feature that really made this thing special, again, this is for somebody who's looking to expand their knowledge of fishing. There's a playback feature on this, so through the phone app, you can go back and look at an entire fishing session. Everything that you mapped, everything that you covered, you can play that back. And so you can see the temperature, you can see the time of day, you can see exactly where your boat was. It has GPS, and you can see the readout that you were getting on screen at that exact time. So if something happened or you wanted to learn more about something, when you get home from your trip and you're thinking, oh, what was that thing? You can go back, watch it, and learn so much about fishing. I've been using a Deeper like going on 5 years now. And we just started working with them in the last couple years. So fortunately, because this is not an inexpensive option, I do have a promotional code so you can save a little bit of money if you are looking to pick up one of these things. If you go to deepersonar.com/paddleheads, the discount, which is 10%, will be automatically applied at checkout. I will just say keep an eye out when you're checking out because they're in Lithuania. It's in euros. When you do the conversion, there's good savings even with the conversion and with shipping. But just be mindful of that. That link will be in the description. So Paddleheads, you can just use that at checkout as well. Save yourself 10% if you want to pick up the Deeper. So again, in order to use this on a canoe, it's best to have this. This is the Flex Mount 2.0. I have it attached right to the gear tracks. It also does come with a clamp. The other thing you'll need would be a phone holder. Now, I'm currently testing this one specifically. This is from Deeper. They make their own phone mount for this. I had one previously. It was an older model, and I actually had some issues with it. So they've sent me a newer model. They said the issues have been ironed out. I'm in the middle of testing it right now. But I'll show you the tested and true method that I used before I had this, which works great. And it's also from Yak Attack. I can't remember exactly what this is called. It's some kind of ball mount, and you can use any like good quality phone clamp to attach to that. That's got a 1/4 inch thread, but these things are really handy and you can attach all kinds of stuff to them. The third and final tip, let's hop over to the bow and show you that now. I learned this from a friend of mine, Justin. This is an excellent thing if you're paddling solo, but also if you're just paddling someone who's a lot lighter than you in the bow, like a kid or something like that, which I do. This makes a huge difference. The thing is a dry bag. This one's full of air, but as the name states, it is designed specifically to put stuff inside and keep water out. Alternatively, it can also do the opposite. If you fill this with water, you put this in the bow of the canoe, and that is going to do a lot for you actually. But primarily it's going to balance the boat, and here's why that's important. So if you're paddling by yourself or with somebody very light in the front, like I said, like a kid, and you don't have a dry bag, 3 things are going to happen. You're going to have reduced stability. So because the bow is going to be sitting out of the water more, there's less surface area of the boat in contact with the water, the boat's going to be less stable. Second thing is tracking. So tracking means your ability to stay in a straight line without the dry bag and with minimal to no weight up front. If you're by yourself paddling in the back, what happens is when you paddle, the front of the boat's going to swing, and it just means it's more work to keep the boat going in a straight line without something like this. The third is on a windy day, if you have no weight up front and you get a good breeze come, the side of the canoe acts like a sail, and that wind is just going to spin the boat around. And I have found with this thing, which when full probably weighs 40 pounds, 50 pounds at least, have that right at the front of the boat, it makes the hugest difference when you get a big gust of wind. It's so much easier to keep the boat pointed straight in where you need to go. I used to clip this onto the handle of the bow. I don't do that anymore. In a situation where you're by yourself and let's say you roll the canoe and you want to do a self-rescue, this thing's going to become an obstacle because it's going to weigh down the front of the boat and it's going to be much harder to flip the boat. So you would have to unclip it. It's just going to make that process more difficult. So as long as it's not a slippery bag and you can stick it upright, I've had no problem. If it's full of water, it just stays like this. That works just fine. And then if for some reason you do tip over, this isn't connected to the boat, it's going to make fixing that problem much easier. Now, before I let you go, I have one more quick little tip. This is considered a bonus tip because it's optional. It's something that's debatable, but I have strong feelings about it, and so I'm going to share that with you. And maybe this is something that you might adopt, or maybe you have some thoughts on it and don't agree with me. That's fine too. It's a rod holder. Now, for some, this might seem like an obvious thing that you need. For others, this might be completely unnecessary and you avoid it intentionally. Many people will just put their rod, kind of position it between their legs while they're paddling and trolling. I've done this in the past and it works in a pinch. But here's the reason why I don't go fishing without these anymore. I personally like to have the rod and I like to troll on the same side that I paddle. Now, if you have your rod between your legs, that rod is going to get in the way if you want to do that. The reason why I have it on the same side as I'm paddling is usually your body is faced in that direction. And so I can keep an eye on my rod tip while I'm paddling. I don't have to look back the other way. I can watch that rod tip while I'm paddling. So with it between your legs, the rod is totally in the way. You can't do that. With the rod holder, you can move the rod up far enough that it's still very easy to grab, but it's not in the way of the paddle stroke. The paddle comes down here and you push it back, and so this is not in the way. That's my personal opinion. I like to watch that rod tip. I like to have it mounted on the same side that I'm paddling, and this is the best way that I found to do that. This one specifically is made by Scotty. It has this clamp on it. I've had it for years, so I'm just continuing to use it. But you can actually get these. Yak Attack makes these also, and you can use the gear tracks if you go that route. I would suggest if you're going to do that, you buy aluminum gear tracks, not these composite ones. This is lighter duty, but if you want to fish for big fish, you want something with a little bit more rigidity if you're gonna use a rod holder on the gear tracks. Oh, check this out too. It's gonna make the canoe go faster. I love stickers. If you don't see your sticker there and you've got one and you want to send it to me, let me know. I'm happy to take it. I got to put some in the front of the boat. Everything you saw in this video is going to be linked in the description below. Some of them are affiliate links. They will be labeled as such. If you'd like to watch a video where I use all this stuff, me and Ben go out adventure fishing, click right up here. And I hope this helps with you and your fishing canoe. Thanks for watching. Stay tight.